supplements versus optimal choices.
Loren Lockman from Tanglewood in Costa Rica. The question that comes up that because the soils are depleted of nutrients, we take supplements. It's easy to understand one might believe this or think this might be a problem. Not impossible that it could be a problem. However, the big problem for most people in the world, most of them, got two things going on. A, they consume not what belongs in the body. Not living on fruit and simple salads. That means most of the nutrients in their food have been destroyed by cooking and processing. Second, they're putting that into a body that doesn't function well. Not efficient, not very effective, not well able to get what it needs. People imagine while fasting you run into deficiency problems. Not likely. Truth is, nobody's sure why. How is it that we don't need nutrition while fasting? You can create a serious deficiency condition in as little as 60 to 90 days. 60 to 90 days with no vitamin C, you are likely to develop scurvy. 60 to 90 days without niacin, you're likely to develop pellagra. 60 to 90 days without thiamine, you're likely to develop whatever that's called. These deficiency conditions develop in 2 to 3 months. In all the recorded history of fasting, with many people who have fasted longer than that, including people I fasted, no one has developed a deficiency condition as a result of fasting. I've seen a few people who developed deficiencies of sodium or potassium, but these happen not because someone's fasting, but because someone's vomiting a lot or has constant diarrhea for 2 weeks. They're losing their electrolytes, not because they're simply needing more, because they're not consuming anything. The people who don't do that don't wind up with issues. In fact, that's astonishing. I find that astonishing. Still, how's that possible? I told you about the guy that fasted 4.5 months a year or two ago. Fine, no deficiencies, and his stage 4 cancer disappeared. But no deficiencies for 4.5 months. You can't go that long without eating anything and not develop deficiencies. So believes the nutrition world. But it happens whenever people do this. The medical study where the average person starting was between 400 and 500 pounds and fasted for an average of 6 months. No deficiency conditions. Going 6 months consuming nothing. Astonishing. However, here's something more astonishing. In almost every case where people have fasted, where we have known they had a deficiency when they started, the deficiency has been eliminated as a result of fasting. While fasting, the deficiency disappears. Not after they start eating high potassium, high magnesium, high sodium foods. While fasting and consuming only water, their deficiency symptoms disappear. This is not only my experience. The same exact phenomenon has been documented by everybody who's written about fasting. Herbert Shelton, who conducted more than 40,000 documented fasts, noticed the exact same thing. Deficiency conditions disappear while fasting. What does this tell you? Bodies are smart. We're using fewer nutrients while fasting, okay? But what else does it tell you? If you didn't have the nutrients in your body, you had a deficiency, they weren't in your body when you started, where'd they come from? Does this tell us that the nutrients were in the body? So how'd you have a deficiency problem? Your body wasn't able to efficiently access or use them. It's not about not having them. In most cases of people who eat, listen, you might have heard about the young woman who recently, a couple of years ago, developed serious kidney and liver problems after consuming chicken McNuggets for 20 years. What a surprise. Chicken McNuggets is not a balanced diet? Imagine. It's possible if you eat complete crap, you're going to have problems. But if you're eating fruits and vegetables, even a standard diet with fruits and vegetables and fortified foods, how do you wind up with deficiencies? In almost every case, it's not because you're not consuming enough. If the problem isn't that you're not consuming enough, does getting more solve the problem? No, it doesn't resolve the underlying issue. It's possible. Let's say you have a potassium problem, magnesium problem. Let's make it a magnesium deficiency. You're eating like most people do and you have a magnesium deficiency. If everyone else is getting what they need and you're not, isn't that strange? Now, you take green smoothies and it disappears. You needed more magnesium. Not necessarily. You weren't able to access what was already present. If everybody else around you is eating the same way and doesn't have a problem, it's not that you're not consuming enough. Your body's not accessing it. It's not able to use it. If you flood the body with excess magnesium, maybe you'll get that need met. But you haven't resolved the underlying problem, and forcing the body to do a bunch of extra work like drinking green smoothies, that's not helping you. You're forcing your body to consume excess protein. You're creating imbalances because this is not a natural balanced substance, and you're not addressing the underlying problem. There was a reason your body couldn't access what it needed. You have done nothing about that. You've only covered it up. Can everyone here see that covering stuff up isn't the way to get as healthy as possible. It's clear from the experience with fasting people and relieving deficiencies, it's in the body. We just need to get the body clean and well functioning so we can get to it. The likelihood of someone who's gotten their body clean and then is eating properly of developing deficiency problems, it's possible. Entirely possible. It's possible I'll get all the furniture in this room in my pocket too. I don't know how. It doesn't seem very likely, but maybe it's possible. In the same way, it's possible you could develop this issue, but it's not very likely. In almost no case have I seen this happen. So this isn't something you need to worry about. The people who are worried about deficiency problems or who have had deficiency problems, I can think of several so-called health gurus who take supplements because they needed to. I've said to these people, come fast with me and we'll get you clean so you don't need to take the supplements. Oh, that's not the problem. How do they know? They've never done it. They believe what they want to believe. All the people who've had their deficiencies eliminated by fasting have a different idea about that. Supplements are completely useless. And remember, there are increasingly more and more studies which are showing that people who take supplements have higher rates of disease. There are people out there trying to convince you that you need supplements. Many of these people have one thing in common. They sell supplements. Okay? You have every right to say, I wonder if there might be any conflict of interest here. Is that a possibility? The fact that you sell it and tell me I need it, I'm not above that. So I expect people to say, when I say to somebody, you might want to fast, they say, well, of course you'd say that. Yeah, I understand your skepticism. But notice something. How many animals on the planet take supplements? None. How many need supplements? The ones we feed and you don't give their natural diet to. Animals in nature don't wind up with deficiency problems most of the time, and they're eating their natural diet. If we do the same thing, we're likely to not need them either. How many animals on the planet fast when they're sick? Virtually every single one. There's the difference. I'm recommending nature's way of giving the body the chance to cleanse and heal. They're recommending something that's completely unnatural and is increasingly being shown to create greater problems. If you want to take a look, the first study that showed this was called the Finnish Smokers Study. They looked at a group of middle-aged men who were smoking cigarettes, and they gave half the group beta-carotene supplements, and the other half did not get beta-carotene. They expected those people taking beta-carotene to have lower incidences of lung cancer. They followed these men until they were all dead, and then they autopsied them. And what did they find? The people who took beta-carotene supplements had more lung cancer and lung disease than the people who did not. Therefore, beta-carotene causes cancer. No. Creating an imbalance in the body as the result of using an unnatural substance make the body weaker and more open to cancer. And this has been shown not only to happen with isolated individual nutrients, but also with multivitamin supplements. There are now several studies that show the same thing. More supplements, more disease. Every study I've ever seen in nutrition, they're looking at an isolated nutrient and saying why it's beneficial. They always say the same thing. The best way to get this is from whole food. Whole foods. Okay? We're never going to do better. You had a question? Exactly. Said that the supplement acts as a crutch, an unnatural substance. One guy pushing supplements, so I keep pointing out, taking supplements doesn't cause the problem. He says, yes, it does. There was a deficiency. That's the problem. But that's not the problem. That's a symptom of a problem. The problem is what created the inability of the body to not get what it needed when eating a healthy diet. If the diet's crap, then fix the diet. Don't stick a Band-Aid on top of a crappy diet. It's like, chicken McNuggets plus Flintstone vitamins, now you're all set. That's healthy. If she'd only taken a Flintstone every single day, she'd have been fine. No, you're not going to fix a crap diet by adding on a Band-Aid approach, by taking a supplement. You need to correct the diet because the crap diet doesn't just not give you what you need, it's creating problems that the body has to overcome. The best diet isn't better because it contains everything and the second best doesn't. The first, second, third, fourth, fifth, maybe the 32nd best diet all contain all the nutrition everybody needs. So what differentiates them? The best diet we can consume is the one that's not creating problems. It's not an impediment to your health. Say, for argument's sake, for discussion, let's say the second best diet, mono meals of high water content fruits, occasional meals of drier fruits like bananas, simple green salads. That's the best diet. The next best diet is the same thing with the inclusion of some conservatively cooked foods. Maybe some grains and beans, maybe some steamed vegetables. This is healthy. Most people would tell you this is healthy, but you and I know differently. We'll say that's the second best you could do for discussion's sake. Both diets contain all the nutrients you need. The better diet's not better because it has more nutrition. We don't need more nutrition than we need. Taking in more than the body can easily assimilate from its natural foods doesn't help us. It creates more work. So what makes the best diet so far superior to the second best and third best diet? The second best diet, if it contains cooked foods, contains toxic substances created by cooking. It contains fewer nutrients. Not that there isn't enough, but it contains nutrients that have been destroyed in the cooking process and bastardized. We've changed the balance. Now we've got something that's no longer balanced because some nutrients are destroyed faster than others. It contains less of the perfect water in our food that our bodies need more than anything else because we chase it out by cooking. We eliminate it by cooking. So understand that it's not that we're needing more nutrition. That's almost never the case. Chances are good. We talked about iodine. I said the studies with animals show almost no animals living off the food in nature wind up with iodine deficiencies. A few have in one or two particular places where they're eating only from there. But you and I aren't doing that. We're not eating exclusively from food grown in the Midwest, where there might be the greatest problem. We're eating from food that's grown in California, where these animals are perfectly fine. We're eating from food grown all over the place in Florida. In your backyard, there is trace amounts of iodine in the soil. And we only need trace amounts and don't benefit from more. So in very, very few cases are we likely to run into deficiencies as long as we get our bodies clean, keep them clean by making optimal diet and lifestyle choices. Okay? Question, even if the supplement is all natural, sourced exclusively from organic whole plants. It's not organic whole plants. It's sourced from them. For instance, you can take, one guy pushes a dried grass supplement. It's made from grass, which isn't food for humans, okay? It's been dried and processed, okay? There's other supplements that are made exclusively from organic fruits and vegetables. But they're not fruits and vegetables. They don't contain water. They don't contain all the fiber. It's not the same thing. They're not going to improve on nature's foods. And the question was, we don't need supplements. We don't need them. And they're harmful to us because they're creating imbalances. We're giving the body a crutch, and the body becomes dependent on that crutch and less able to get what it needs from its real food. There's no benefit to doing this. I can't say there's not a case of anybody who gets their body clean and eats right that's going to need a supplement. The first step, get your body clean and then make sure your diet is optimized. There's a guy that points out every argument, yeah, but the commercially grown food. Okay, but if you care about your health, why are you eating commercially grown food? Most here, you live in California. You can buy organic. There's tons of organic available in the U.S. And there's tons of available. There's more in Denmark than anywhere in the world. Although that includes popcorn and candy. They eat more organic food in Denmark than anywhere in the world, but they have all kinds of organic junk food. They're very proud of that statistic. It's true. It's true. There's plenty of organic produce available in cities in the world today, around most places, and we can get what we need by doing that. And that's the first step. Get your body clean and well-functioning, optimize your diet, and you will not need supplements. If you do, that's another question, then address that. I haven't seen that happen yet. See, if that's been helpful, I'll see you next time.